Yesterday, upon the stair, I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. I wish he'd go away.
You've probably heard these lines before, said in a film by a mysterious character, included in a book of ghost poems, or even whispered as harmless childhood nonsense. But there's something about them, something sticky. 16 lines, no real story, and yet it clings. Because it names something we all know, but rarely say aloud. That feeling of not being alone when you should be. The poem, colloquially The Man Who Wasn't There, was written around 1899 by William Hughes Mearns, an American educator and writer. He wasn't a mystic or a folklorist, he taught creative writing and psychology. But Mearns believed imagination was the bridge between the seen and unseen, between childhood and the uncanny. Biographical accounts say Mearns turned a late-night ghost story into a short rhyme. Some sources say a student or friend told him of a man on a stair who vanished when approached. But no surviving journal entry or letter by Mearns has been found that records that exact anecdote. The story of the poem's origin sits partly in biography and partly in legend. First performed as part of a student play at Harvard called The Psycho-Ed, it took on true fame when published 12 years later. This time, it bore the strange subtitle Antigonish. Antigonish is a quiet town in Nova Scotia, and around that same time, the name had begun to drift through newspapers and paranormal circles. A town beset by fire spooks. In early 1921, reports emerged from a small farm near Caledonia Mills in Antigonish County. The MacDonald family claimed their home was under siege by invisible forces. On a stormy night in the January of 1922, spontaneous blue fires broke out around the home, nowhere near their stove. Wet towels and patches of wallpaper would burst into flames. Objects moved on their own. A young girl named Mary Ellen lived there, and soon she became the focus of the haunting. Neighbours spoke of seeing her clothes ignite without harm, and of hearing voices call her name when no one was around. The story spread so far that the American Society for Psychical Research sent an investigator, Dr. Walter Franklin Prince, a psychologist and theologian, who catalogued 38 fires in one night. And though his final report suggested human agency, perhaps Mary Ellen herself in a dissociative state, the legend of the Antigonish fire spook had already taken root. So when Mearns' haunting little poem was published that same year, a rhyme about a man who appeared and vanished on the stairs, many readers connected the two. They assumed the poem was inspired by the ghost in Nova Scotia, but it wasn't. The poem had been written earlier. Still, the timing was uncanny. Two unrelated hauntings, tied together by a name, and by that shared sense of something unseen.
But when I came home last night at 3, the man was waiting there for me. But when I looked around the hall, I couldn't see him there at all.
3 a.m, the hour of the poem's return. In folklore, it's the witching hour, or sometimes the devil's hour, a moment when the veil between worlds thins. Witches fly, spirits stir, and sleepers are at their most vulnerable. In medieval belief, it inverted the holy hour of Christ's death at 3 in the afternoon, turning midnight's mirror into shadowed mockery. But even outside superstition, there's something strange about that hour. Modern sleep research tells us that between 2 and 4 a.m, our temperature dips, blood pressure lowers, and the brain sometimes stutters between dreaming and wakefulness. When you wake suddenly then, eyes open, heart racing, you're half in the dream and half in the room. It's when people most often report feeling a presence, not sensing, feeling, as though someone stands just behind them or over them, breathing in sync. That sensation has a name in neurology, the felt presence phenomenon, and it's been studied for over a century. Common in neurological conditions or stressful states, polar explorers like Ernest Shackleton wrote that, quote, "It seemed there were 4, not 3, in his musings about his journey." This niche version of felt presence, called the third man or third man syndrome, occurs only in extreme survival or isolation situations. It's usually categorized by the feeling of a supportive, unseen companion, providing comfort or guidance. Whether it's self-preservation or madness, it's something deep in the way we sense ourselves. But when it happens in the dark, it feels like a haunting.
Oh, go away, don't come back anymore. Go away, and please don't slam that door.
Every culture has stories of this presence, something that stands close but never steps into the light. In Ireland, it might be called the fetch, and its sometimes ghostly double, seen before a death. In Norway, it's the vardoger, a person's essence arriving moments ahead of their body. Around the world, people speak of shadows, figures glimpsed at the edge of vision, felt before they're seen. Folklorists describe it as the moment the soul touches the boundary of another world. In religious settings, it's often seen as a benevolent or comforting spiritual experience. Either way, it's old. Older than poetry, older than superstition. Mearns' Man Who Wasn't There fits perfectly into this lineage. He's the echo of that invisible presence, the one our minds conjure when isolation grows loud. The haunting that doesn't knock, just simply exists.
Last night, I saw upon the stair a little man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away.
The early 20th century was an age obsessed with psychology. Sigmund Freud wrote about the uncanny, the strange familiarity of something once repressed. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow self, the parts of us we refuse to see. Mearns was teaching during that same era, and it's hard not to hear those echoes in his poem. The man who wasn't there might not be a ghost at all. He might be the unseen double we carry, guilt, memory, or grief, manifesting at the top of the stairs, asking, begging to be acknowledged. Psychiatrists in the 1940s even used the poem as shorthand for hallucinations of presence. These moments of paranoia when someone feels watched, but cannot say by whom. It became a way of describing not a haunting, but a human mind haunted by itself. Invisible companions and unseen watchers have always walked beside us in story. In Celtic lore, the Sidhe, the fairy folk, could only be seen from the corner of the eye. In Scandinavian folklore, the Nattmara pressed invisibly upon sleeping chests, its presence known only through the weight of breath. In Japan, the Zashiki Warashi, child spirits, left behind silence when they moved on. Each one speaks of the same tension, the living brushing up against something that does not belong to life. Mearns' poem has never gone away. It's been sung. Glenn Miller turned it into a jazz tune in the 1930s. It's been filmed. The Coen brothers borrowed its title in 2001 for a story about a man fading into invisibility. 2003's Identity used it as a chilling framing device of an unravelling mind. It appears in psychology texts. ghost anthologies, and internet forums alike. It has outlived its author because it names an experience that is older than belief. The invisible guest, the echo on the stairs, the presence you can't explain and can't quite forget. In the 2020s, neuroscientists at Durham and Geneva used robotic interfaces to reproduce that felt presence in volunteers. By disrupting the brain's map of its own body, they could make people swear there was someone standing right behind them. In other words, we now have the science to summon Mearns' ghost. But even knowing that, the poem still feels no less haunted. Because there's something in the words, something that makes you feel it too.
Wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away.
Maybe that's why it endures. Because every one of us has met the man who wasn't there. In the quiet of 3 a.m, in the hallway mirror, we turn and there's no one. But still, we feel him watching. Welcome to October on Rowan and Pine. This is the beginning of your spooky Spooktober content for this month. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a little rating or a comment to make sure we keep showing up on your feeds because there is so much goodness yet to come.
Thanks for listening, and fuck yeah, folklore. Fuck yeah, folklore.